Okay, good evening, everyone. Today was a productive day in terms of working through some of my issues, and I came to a new issue to work through, which is that I'm stuck in the house, and I talked briefly about this in my previous video. And the long story short of it is that because the job of the neighborhood watch and the police is to protect people who murder and rape children, and because their method of doing that is Darvo, as South Park said it about Donald Trump, deny all, reverse, victim, and offender. And by extension, it's not just children, but people who are adults who are a victim of sex crimes as children. They also get targeted. And because of that, and because of my living in this residential area where there's schools everywhere, I'm now not allowed to go outside on a weekday while it's daytime school hours without someone breaking into our house and gassing me, which puts a huge disruption in my life with wanting to have a girlfriend and wanting to have a regular life, and also being targeted. So anywhere I go, they're going to be Darvoing me. And I therefore need the help of my mom, but I can't even live here while going outside, or else I'm going to be gassed, which is terrible to be gassed. There's no safe way of gassing someone on the regular. So if I go out all the time, I'll be gassed on the regular. And that's super fucked up. And to realize that is so traumatic that I feel like it's not even real. And getting gassed is not even the worst that can happen. There are worse things that can happen, but just as a baseline, getting gassed really sucks. And so that's super fucking terrible, that there's nowhere I can really go unless I go out into the boonies somewhere. I go off into the fucking countryside, which I don't think I necessarily want to do. I mean, maybe, but I don't think I even can. I don't know how to afford something like that. I mean, we have a really good spot in town. I mean, the only option would be, and I don't know how we could do this because I think my mom is a gang stalker, to actually get cameras that they can't hack on our car 24/7 and in our house 24/7. And then their only method would be to cause a car accident, which they've tried to do a few times, but that might be more difficult than sabotaging our car. And then also, even if we stop them from breaking in, they can still gas us. And so, there's really no escape. I guess I could just ask the gang stalkers, can you just not gas me, please? But I don't know. I don't know what to say. I was going to say you rape children and you kill children. So you wouldn't say, okay, we'll just not gas you. And I know how self-righteous you are, so I know that there's no asking you that. So I don't know what to do. And there's probably some gang stalker out there who's saying, well, no, I'm a true fighter for freedom, and I protect the little ones. Okay, you're clean. You're digging ditches. You're not very high up in the organization if that's what you think. You fucking retard. You're like, well, I just drive the train. I don't kill the Jews. I just drive trains. I don't know what they're putting back in there. I thought it was livestock. No, it's just livestock back there. You fucking retard. Anyway, well, what if that's the best case scenario? I can only go outside on the weekends. If I want to go outside in the daytime, it has to be on the weekend. And then on the weekdays, I have to stay inside until 6 p.m. or something. and then I'm still going to get honked at, but at least I can reasonably predict I won't be gassed. I don't know. And you might say, well, just don't go near a school. Yeah, there's no way to get anywhere. There's a school everywhere. There's a school down the street on our street. Wherever I go, I have to go by a school. And it's fucking shitty to have to stay inside. And I'm trying to like have a girlfriend, and I want to like go for walks with my girlfriend, and I can't even go for a walk with my girlfriend. And I have to explain, oh, because they're darboing me and they're going to fucking hurt me if I do that. And that's like, that's hard to process. That it's like getting a life in prison sentence, and suddenly I have to process it. And it's helping by drinking the water to actually come to terms with that, to admit it clearly. Like, no, it's not that you said this and that. It's literally that you went out at 2 p.m. in the daytime on a weekday, and that's why they broke in, and that's why you got gassed, and that's why you're groggy, and God knows what they did to you because you were sleeping on the couch. And you could go on and on about how it's not fair, and how it was the corruption of people who were fucking disgruntled more than a normal gang stalker. But then the whole institution of gang stalking is fucked to begin with. It's like saying a cop brutalizes you. A cop handcuffs you and takes you behind the police cruiser and beats you up. And you say, man, that cop was such an asshole. But then in the side of your mind, you're thinking, but they never got punished. And for them never to get punished, all the other cops are protecting for them. And all the judges are protecting for them. And all the lawyers are protecting for them. And the whole institution is fucked. So you want to blame certain ones. You want to say, please, police, lawyers, help me against this brutalizer over here. Help me against these certain gang stalkers who set me up, who entrapped me, so that now I can't go outside in the daytime. And just for the record, for anyone new watching, I don't have a criminal record. I've never been to court or had any sort of police allegations against me. I have a clean criminal record, a clean vulnerable sector criminal record too, which is even harder to have. And so on one hand, I want to say, please, gang stalkers, don't you see that it was these certain gang stalkers who entrapped me into saying things that made it so now if I go outside in the daytime, I'm getting gassed? Can you please not retract this off my file? And on the other hand, I'm saying, but you already all know, and you're already all covering, and it's already part of your plan that it's a genocide, that it starts at birth, it's wiping out people's lineage. It's literally what Van Morrison says, I'm a targeted individual, you're trying to keep me from being a father. You're trying to wipe out bloodlines. It's like a war crime. People say, why would anyone target you? Well, that's the whole point of a war crime. It's that the military targets civilians who have nothing to do with war or fighting. It's a war crime. That's what a war crime is. Like, I feel like it's a gaslighting question anyway. I shouldn't be taking it seriously because it's only gang stalkers who ask that. But someone who doesn't know what gang stalking is might also say that. Why would the government target you? You're not a Martin Luther King. No, it's the fact that I'm just a person. It's just the fact that I'm a normal person. And if they want to get rid of a Martin Luther King, they'll also gang stalk them. So I'm pretty zipped and zanked right now. I mean, is that really that bad? You can only go out on the weekends, and on after like, I don't know, 5 or 6 p.m. on the weekdays. I don't know. That's pretty bad though. You know, you'd like to go out whenever you want, and I pretty much do. I mean, I've asked my mom, if they're gonna kill us for me going out, would you say that's cool? And she's like, yeah, go out. Let's just die. But I don't want to get gassed. You know, it fucking sucks. So I don't know if that's why I don't want to message Marina right now, because I'm just kind of like coming to terms with this. Since I'm water fasting, I'm getting more real with myself about what my situation is and how horrifying it is. And it's like so fucking painful that I'd always try and find some other reason why I was getting gassed. Now the police have seemed to tell me to go around. You know, they said they parked down the street at the gang stalker's house who tried to run over Todd with a truck, and they parked on the side with one of those signs, like an arrow saying like drive around them, which is a very odd thing to do because this is a side street with no one on it. So to me it was signaling like go around, go on this side street, don't go on this street that has a school on it. And then when I was coming home from the doctor's office, they had another police cruisers, two of them, doing the exact same thing with those go around signs on this street, as if I should have went around a different route to the doctor's office, which I could have, and I wouldn't have went by a school, but I would have went near a school. And so I don't know if they're just saying literally don't drive within like 500 feet of a school or something. I don't know if that's the rule. I mean, if that's the rule, then I pretty much can go. I pretty much can go out. I don't know if that's what they're saying, and it kind of makes me feel belittled to ask permission when I feel like disapproving of your ethics. It makes me feel like I'm asking a predator for permission to go for a walk. And at the same time, I know that they get their orders from somewhere higher up. And they might be saying, well, this is the best we can do. We can protect you. We could say you're not going to get gassed if you don't literally go by the school. But, you know, when I've went on this other street to avoid the school, they also shot fireworks like they were going to shoot me. And when I go on that other street, it's also kind of on the same street as a school. It's kind of like there's a school field kind of near there. So it really is nearly impossible to get where I need to go without going by a school. Like for anyone locally here, I'm trying to go to River and Ottawa doctor's office. So how am I going to get there without going by a school? Well, if I go all the way down Franklin, turn left on Weber, and get there that way, I'm going to have to go by St. Patrick's School. If I go down Franklin and turn right on the last street before Ottawa Street, that's where I had the fireworks shot, and then I'll still be going by the schoolyard of Franklin School. And I'll be, then I'll still be going by Franklin School too, which is another school. There's two schools on this street. So I don't even know what the police was trying to say, or if the police was just randomly, incidentally there then, and by saying go around, they're saying just go around. It's not like a subliminal message. It's just literally just go around. So I don't even understand. But I mean, I would do that. Like if they're like, okay, you go near a school, we're going to gas you. I would say, okay, just tell me the route I'm supposed to go. Like I would be happy to do that. And I would like to ask them, again, they can't communicate because it would incriminate them, and then I could sue the fuck out of them and put them in prison. I would like to ask them, even without my intention of trying to sue them, I would like to ask them very literally, where am I allowed to go and when without being gassed? I don't know how to ask them this. And I frankly don't think that they're concerned with, well, maybe I shouldn't say that. I was going to say I don't think they're concerned with me getting gassed or not. I think me getting gassed and me getting killed is the goal. And so I don't think there's there isn't a logical sane answer to begin with. The reason why they're gassing me to begin with is absurd. It's insane to begin with. So why would I think they have any legitimacy, any coherence at all? Why would I think anything other than they're the Nazis doing a genocide on fucking targeted individuals? And that racism and the KKK isn't about race anymore. It's about bloodlines. And even bloodlines is just an arbitrary thing. It's not that some people have O negative blood. It just means that your family got targeted and there's a certain quota and it's basically random. They find any excuse. They're getting paid. The more people they target, the more they get paid. It's a war crime. You just happen to be there. That's the point of it. And so why would they care about me? Well, some gang stalkers seem to be bleeding hearts. Certainly it's gotten a lot worse based on things I've said. So you could say, well, if it's gotten worse based on things you've said, then doesn't that imply there's some kind of rule system to how they work? Yeah, but it's not fair. If it was fair, they could talk about it. So why would I assume that they would give me an answer? They would want me to not know the answer. They would want me to get hurt. But is that then just useless to ask? To say, well, maybe there is an answer. Can you tell me? When am I allowed to go outside? When am I not? Am I allowed to go on the trails? Are you going to kill me and my family if I go out on the trails? Are you going to drain the transmission fluid from our car? Are you going to break in and touch me while I'm sleeping and make me so I'm groggy for the next couple days and kill my cat? Are you going to hurt Stuart, my mom's cat? If I go out to the doctor's office at 2 p.m., is that the same as going out at 3 p.m. or 4 p.m.? When I go out at 8 p.m., you're still honking the horns. When I don't go near a school at 8 p.m., you're still punishing me. When I talk to Marina on FaceTime at 10 p.m., you're still punishing me. Other TIs have reported this, that whenever they have sex with their girlfriend, there'll be a car outside honking their horn. So it's like you get punished even for having sex with your girlfriend. Is that because it's a genocide and they don't want you to have sex as a TI, that you're not allowed to be a father, like Van Morrison says? If it's that fucked up, if it really goes to that level that, hey, you're not allowed to have a baby because you're part of the targeted, we're wiping out your lineage. If it's really that fucked up, then why would they give me any sort of coherent, structured rule system for when I'm allowed to go outside and not? Because I don't want to be just stuck in my room forever. Again, I've been like a recluse. I used to go out every single day. Like 2 times a day, I would go out for walks. And now I'm starting to have a good life again more. Like I have Marina in my life. Hopefully, I mean, I haven't messaged her yesterday and today. But I mean, hopefully, if I have her in my life, it would be nice to be able to have a girlfriend and to go out for walks and to enjoy nature. Like the more you're successful in your relationships, the more you will enjoy to go out for a walk. Like I could actually enjoy going for walks now, but I can't because I'm afraid that someone's going to gas us and break in and harm the animals or harm me, and being gassed is harmful. So I don't even know how to ask for help. Like I don't even understand. You know, there was one time I drove by the school in the daytime and the cops had pulled over a truck that looked just like a truck that tried to hit me. Now, I don't know if the cops were saying, okay, look, we're threatening you. Remember that truck that tried to hit you? Here's one. Or if they were saying, we're protecting you. I don't know. I thought they were protecting me, but maybe not. Maybe that was just another threat. Sometimes I wonder too that it wasn't so much that they entrapped me that caused this getting gassed thing when I go outside, but that I exposed them, and it's punishment for that. Like, I already know tonight, basically, for example, I talked about some of the things that I've exposed them doing, and I said I don't want to even talk about the things that they've done because that's going to get me gassed. And I'm pretty sure that after I said that on those videos, after I said on that video, I mean, that I made tonight, that a car drove by and beeped, kind of like punishment, like you're not allowed to talk about the things we've done. I think it might be that too, because they won't frame it like that. They'll say, no, 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 it's that you said all these bad things and now we're punishing you. And it's pretty fucked up. I mean, if you believe that kind of stuff as the victim of it, it's difficult to realize you're a victim without condemning yourself as being self-righteous. You're traumatized and human trafficked and terrorized, assaulted. And you want to say, it's not my fault. But then they're just going to say, no, you're self-righteous. We all know it's your fault. Of course it's your fault. It's all your fault. Everything is your fault. We're rightly hurting you. This is justice. This is keeping the order. And part of me thinks, well, I think a lot of gang stalkers don't really enjoy this. I don't know how far up the handlers have authority. I don't know if I could show I'm making an effort. Like if I avoid schools, can I go outside? Right now, if I go outside for a walk, it's like 11 p.m. If I go down this side street where there's no school, there's going to be a guy who showed me his penis. Like literally a guy who flashed his penis at me, who I call the Night Stalker. If I go for a walk right now, he's going to be there. I can say with like a lot of confidence that statistically when I go out for a walk at night, it's going to be him. And so why would they punish me like that? Like I go out for a nightly walk, there's no children around, there's no school around, there's going to be a guy who showed me his penis who comes to stalk me. And I'm supposed to say, okay guys, you guys are totally righteous, you're totally cool, you're totally legit. And can I just have permission to go outside in the daytime? And they're going to be like, yeah, okay, Z-Bubs. We send this guy who showed you his dick to stalk you when you go out for a walk at night. When you do your best to avoid a school, we're going to treat you to a guy who showed you his dick and told you how nice you look in a tank top. That's going to be your behavior modification for going outside at night. And so suddenly they're just going to say, okay, it's cool, you go outside in the daytime, we won't gas you. We'll just give you a different route to take. But what route, I've already tried to map this out in my head. I don't know what route there is to take. So it's like pretty disturbing. I don't know what to do. And then I think that guy who showed me his dick, he might just be a lone pervert. It might not be the higher ups telling him to do that, but just allowing him to do that. And maybe it's not necessarily I'm going to be gassed every time I go out in the daytime, just depending on where I go. I don't know. And, you have a lot of pride. Part of you says, well, I'm not going near a school to be a predator. So fuck you and kill me. I'd actually rather die than play your game and pretend like I'm a predator. I would rather, and pretend like I'm a terrorist, and all these things they're calling me more than a predator. They're calling me a terrorist as well. And rather than pretending that, for example, there was this guy who honked his horn in a blue truck outside of our house. So I went over to him and I said hello. And then they had a blue truck with a piece of cloth covering their license plate try to vehicular assault my mom and grandma in the freeway as a way of saying, you can't do acts of terrorism. You're saying hello to the guy who beeped at you in that blue truck. We're getting in exactly the same blue truck to do that vehicular assault on you to show you that your act of terrorism, saying hello to that guy, was not allowed. And so part of you wants to say, if someone honks their truck at me, I should go out and say hello to them. I should have the right to do that. And it helped me, like seeing that guy's face, like seeing his scared eyes, seeing his dyed hair. He was old, his hair was going gray, and he had like obvious hair dye. Seeing the patheticness of that guy helped me realize, wow, you're just a garbage pail guy. You live in a garbage pail. I thought you were a big, scary guy. You're just the Wizard of Oz or something. You're just like a shell of a person. And so I wasn't like being a terrorist to him, but that's how they took it. And they're like, we'll kill you and your whole family for that. And every TI knows this. If you defend yourself, you're going to get fucking killed. And so, part of me wants to say, well, you should just kill me, just gas me. I would rather just die of being gassed. But then you have, like, what if you're living with your girlfriend and she's going to get gassed, or your mom and she's going to get gassed? Well, my mom says, yeah, just let's all die. Let's, don't let them take away your life. Just, they want to kill us in a car accident? Okay. But then it's like, well, do you like being gassed? Like, it's not cool to be gassed. You get vertigo, you feel tired, you don't feel the same, you're like fucking drugged out. Like, it's not cool. It's so uncool that you consider going to fucking Switzerland to get nitropotted. You consider, okay, I would rather die, let me just die on my own terms. And then you start considering, well, maybe I should just not go the place that gets me gassed. Maybe that's a better method. But then I don't know how to do that unless I'm like stuck inside all the time. Stuck inside at least in the daytime, on the weekdays. And then when I do go out, they're going to use children to stalk me. As if to say, and look, haha, look, can you see? We want you to know that we're just fucking with you. We want you to know that it's all corrupt. We like the degradation. It's not about fairness and justice. We like degrading you. That's the fun of it. We want to harm you for fun and for money. But so it's basically get tortured to death. You gotta die really slow and painful if you want to go outside in the daytime, and that's kind of the price you have to take. And part of me says, yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. Another part of me says, no, that's not cool at all. Especially when, well, I'm not going to be a good Samaritan here. I'm not going to say, especially when it's the people you love who are endangered too. But I did feel really bad about Todd. I did think I got Todd killed, and Todd basically drowned. And I wouldn't have had the guts to drown myself based on standing up to these people. I felt like I got Todd killed for my standing up to them. And had I had to die like that, I would have not had the guts to do that. And that was very cowardly of me to put Todd in harm's way like that. So I feel like death by nitropod would be something I'm kind of reasonably sure I'd have the guts to do. But death by drowning, I don't think I'd have the guts to do that. And so I think if I'm being tortured to death, maybe I should try to comply and not go outside in the daytime, I guess, or just not go near a school in the daytime. But then that limits where I can go. Like I can go to Walmart then. But I can't go on the trails. I don't know if I can go on the trails. I really don't know what I'm allowed to do even. I don't think they have any real consistency. I don't think they're sane people. So it's just sad, it's just fucking sad. But, I'm feeling better. Like I talked about a lot of my issues and I'm feeling better where I'm at with Marina, even though I haven't talked to her today or yesterday. I feel like I've worked through a lot of my issues, so I feel more, I'm taking my space, I feel like I need some alone time, but it doesn't mean I don't love her. I'm still very caring towards her, and I still want to talk to her more. I still hope she'll visit. I still hope that we can live together one day. But I mean, living here, what kind of life would that be? Like, hey, you're going to live with me, but I can't ever go outside during the daytime. What kind of life is that? Unless I only go to Walmart or unless I only go to certain areas of town. But like, if we want to go on a nature walk or something, we have to drive there. And, I don't know how to deal with that. And even certain nature walks we can't even drive to because of where we might have to drive by. I mean, that's pretty fucked up. But I mean, it's probably better than being in a CCOT prison. Like a lot of the victims of these intelligence agencies are rotting away in some prison or dead or something. Like when you think about a lot of TIs end up dead. And so when you think about it like that, okay, I at least have my life. I at least have a girl I love. I at least have my water fasting. What if I can only go out in certain places at certain times? And it's humiliating and it's limiting. But people understand that the FBI and the CIA are literally Epstein Island. Everyone understands that Jeffrey Epstein is an agent of Mossad, of the Israeli intelligence agency who work with the CIA and the FBI, and they control all the other intelligence agencies in the world, like CSIS in Canada, where I live. And so everyone knows that that's the case, but no one really cares, or what? I don't even know. Or no, everyone cares, but no one can do anything. So at least I have my pride. At least I can be like that guy Lefty in that movie with Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. And I'm Lefty, my left ball hangs lower. Lefty is I can walk, my mom can walk anywhere in this street, anywhere in town and keep their head held high. And I'm at least I can do that. But if I go some places, people are going to try and kill me. And the people who try and kill me are going to be sorry, we just got to do it. We're just the hitman for the cartel. And if we don't do it, something bad is going to happen to our kids. So sorry. Is that my consolation? At least I have pride. Yeah, I guess. And is that even possible? What if I still get gassed for going the other way? The school is that way. What if I go the opposite way? Well, am I still going to get gassed? I somehow feel no. But even then, I don't know. It might depend on what time it is. Because kids walk down this whole street near the school get in and get out times. And then, so what are the hours then? And where can I go then? And And I wish I could ask. I wish I could have a conversation with a gang stalker or a handler who could literally tell me, here's the rules. But when the whole gang stalking thing is a genocide to begin with, why would they have any rules? The rules are just for show. The rules are just to brainwash the retards, the low-level retards. Like the person who joins the cult and they think they're doing a good job, and the rules are just like, okay, this is why we're doing it. The predator was outside near a school, so we got to get him. I mean, I don't think the rules are even the point. But I don't think doesn't mean I'm sure. Just means I'm pretty sure. So maybe there's enough leeway in how sure I am to say, can I, the rules aren't the point, but can you make an exception for me to make the rules the point for me? And give me a clear rules system? And we'll talk in code language that I'll say, okay, I'm gonna go out tomorrow at a certain time, honk 2 times, have Patrick and Carla honk 2 times when I get home if that was not allowed, have them honk 1 time if that is allowed. Or if I say something like that and they do it exactly as I ask and say, then it would incriminate them. And I would say, well, I'll just do it off camera. I'll just go in the bathroom by myself and say, just talking to myself, knowing our bathroom is bugged. I'll just say, okay, the camera's off, so I'll have no proof of this. But then even then, if I say it, people trust me enough that if I say that I said it, and then it happens, that will incriminate them. And so I'd have to say, I'm not going to tell. Okay, I won't tell anyone that we're communicating. I'll pretend like gang stalking doesn't exist. And will you give me the communication so I can know how to safely exercise as much freedom as you've allowed me? So based on where the police were parked with their lights shining to go around, I think they're saying if you wanted to go to the doctors on River in Ottawa, go down Trafalgar, turn right on Kenneth, then go up Kenneth, cross Franklin Street, but don't go on Franklin Street, go down Kenneth, turn left on that side street off Kenneth, I don't know what it's called, to get to River, and then turn left on River and go to River in Ottawa that way. And you can bypass the school that way. And the significance of parking by the people who try to hit Todd with a truck would be saying, if you don't do this, we're going to kill someone you love. Or you, like we're going to hurt you and people you love if you don't follow this rule. And then as for the time to do that, I don't really understand that. Can I do that at any time of the day? At 2 p.m., at 3 p.m., at 4 p.m., at 5 p.m.? Is there a certain time restriction on this? Because if I can go that route, then I can, go most places at most, or at all times. I can go anywhere at all times if that's the case. I think, maybe not. It might be, I can at least go more places at more times. And maybe the gang stalkers look kindly upon compliance Maybe it's not so much the rules, but the cooperation that they appreciate, the subservience, that it's like you're complying, so therefore you're like we know that they're criminal. We know they're criminals. So we're not going to say that the rules are based on logic or protecting anyone. So maybe just the compliance itself is the point. In which case, that's humiliating for me to consider that even. But also at the same time, I don't think it should be my fault if I'm being human trafficked and sex trafficked ultimately, and I don't want to be murdered and tortured. It's not unmanly for me to say, please don't hurt me. What can I do to stop you from hurting me as much? Food for thought.